to another episode of TCAP Recap. And prepare yourselves because we are in for a treat tonight because we are taking a look at the king, Mr. Jeff Sokol. Yes, that is right, the pizza predator himself. I did have to split this into several parts because it's long footage and I just wanted to get the most mileage out of it. So this is definitely part one. There may be a part two, possibly even part three, depending on how much talking I do. So thanks for sticking with me. Let's continue. He is infamous in TCAPdom, and I would argue that he is the most infamous Predo that ever came out of both series, both Hansen versus Predators and TCAP. He's got a few things going for him. He's in HVP, so the footage quality is way better than the old TCAP stuff. And I know that I liked watching the HVP stuff more at first than the TCAP stuff because the quality was so great on, Dupé, Sokol, Velez, these legends that walked into that kitchen and just got demolished by Chris Hansen. And I want to see it in detail. Once you start getting into TCAP, I feel like you don't care as much about the quality. You start to just enjoy it for what it is as an artifact of its time, as well as what's in the actual content. But I digress. The second thing that Sokol has going for him in terms of infamy, he is an arrogant prick. And he is an arrogant prick the entire time he is in the Sting House. And when we follow up on the interrogation, which I plan on doing in the next 2 weeks at some point, he is an arrogant prick throughout the interrogation with the police as well. And he maintains his innocence the entire time. He's not even willing to admit that he did anything wrong. And as his lawyer will argue for him in court later, allegedly, 100 years ago, this wouldn't have been a crime, so he should not be charged. Yeah, the balls on these guys, huh? Anyway, just some brief background. Jeff Sokol was busted in Fairfield, Connecticut on October 3rd, 2015. He was 44 years old at the time. He was meeting up with Bailey, age 13, who is played by the decoy Nervous Nelly. The decoy is played by the actress Nervous Nelly, who is consistently ranked in, the number one spot for decoys. If not number one, at least up there in the top, the greats. At least from everybody I hear from, it seems like she's a top contender for the number one spot. And I agree, because she draws Sokol out with such skill. And she truly is nervous, even though she's 19 and not 13, and it's all a sting. She still lets some of that real nervousness show through, and it's just very convincing. So, kudos to her. Let's get into the video. I'm not going to listen or go over the messages beforehand. I'm going to let Chris take that because we're watching the uncut footage, so it's going to be a little bit longer. And that means we're going to have to jump right in to keep it a reasonable length. So let's get to it. All right, here we go. First things first, shout out to Walls for posting the video and in the uncut. It's some great footage, some great high quality. You can see all the grisly, brutal details unfold in real time in, HD, basically. And you can also hear all the gory details unfold as Jeff Sokol destroys that pizza. So let's just jump right into it. It's 17 minutes of footage, so buckle in. Here we go.
What you see being edited behind me, you can see nowhere else. It is more compelling and disturbing than virtually anything you can watch on TV today.
I would have to disagree with Chris here because even in 2015, there were YouTube content creators who were busting predators in similar ways. So while it's true that it's the only place where we can see his specific show being edited, and it is compelling. It's a little grandiose to be saying that it's the only place where you can get this kind of footage. But, Chris, he's aged since TCAP. He's more of a silver-haired fox these days. He did keep that head of hair, so good for him. He's weathered his fair share of storms in the intervening years, so this was his big comeback. Unfortunately, it didn't get picked up as a TV show, so he had to release it as a web series. But it's out here, we got it, and I, for one, love it, so let's dive back in.
It is my complete interview with Jeff Sokol. He surfaced in our Predator investigation in Fairfield, Connecticut. A little bit of it aired on my syndicated show Crime Watch Daily, but now here on Hansen vs. Predators, you'll see the whole thing. Sokol came with food and an appetite for sex. He left after a very aggressive interview with me in handcuffs.
So the question is this guy in the background doing actual editing, or is he just doing some busy work to make it seem like that? Because he looks a little anxious at the end, like, ooh, what do I do now?
He left after a very aggressive interview with me in handcuffs.
Good intro, though, by Chris. Great intro. He still has the great intonation, the great cadence of speaking. Look at this creep. He's just lurking in front of that house. He's not hiding. He's not creeping. He's lurking right in front of the door. Like, if this was your neighbor and you knew there was a 13-year-old girl there alone because her parents had told you to keep an eye on her, you take one look out the window, you see Jeff Sokol, and you're calling the police. So already we're seeing Jeff show poor decision making, and it turns out it seems to be because of his deeply held conviction that he's not doing anything wrong when he comes here to meet this girl for sex after a sexually charged chat log. So, is he dumb? Does he really believe that deep in his heart, and that's why he has such confidence when he's doing it? Let's continue to find out. He's got stuff to say for himself. It is definitely an aggressive interview.
Jeff? Over here. You can come in this way. Sorry about that. Come on in.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Did you find the house okay?
He's coming in this house all smiles. He doesn't hesitate at all once he knows that she's there. And he gets a look at her, even though it's still in the dark. His wildest dreams are coming true right now. This guy, he comes bearing gifts, just like John Dupay, except Jeff's gifts are they're of a different class. They're a little bit higher class, hot food, warm pizza. It's a little bit better than some chocolate and Cheetos. But I digress. Jeff Sokol is a man who feels on top of the world as he enters this house.
No, because it's really dark out. So.
How long did it take you to get here?
I don't know, I think 2.
That was another serious Predator look back out that window. Wow, let's watch that one more time.
No, because it's really dark out. I think 2.5 hours.
Yeah. He just wanted to make sure. He had a flash. After standing in front of the house for a while without caring, he suddenly gets nervous. But now he's in the safety of the kitchen, under those hot stage lights that they have right there, because this is actually a TV set. But Jeff, in his horniness, doesn't see it. This is a lot more believable a setup than Bowling Green, where it was the two lazy boys facing each other. That was a ridiculous setup, and it didn't matter. They all fell for it. This is a lot better. You know, some people say one stool, that's kind of weird. I don't think it's that weird. It's like when somebody's in the kitchen and you're waiting for something to boil, you sit down and watch something on your phone or read or whatever. So that part's believable. It's just those really hot, bright lights and those mysterious curtains put there for no reason. Like, why are the doors taken off the hinges? All right, Jeff, you have entered the arena. Let's see how you hold it up against the decoy.
That's a long drive.
Yeah. All right.
I'm really nervous.
So you give me a hug?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I love this first little power play of the night between Jeff and the decoy, because Jeff comes in expecting the decoy from the chat log, and like a decoy does in a chat log, she went along with everything, you know, saying LOL, yeah, sure. And so he shows up expecting this pliant 13-year-old who's going to be open to whatever he wants, like she was in the chat. And instead, he meets this girl who has a visceral reaction at the thought of being touched by him. And he immediately can sense something's off. Instead of doing the rational thing and asking himself, why is all this tension here between us? But instead of doing the rational thing and asking himself, why is all this tension between us? Because some of it can be explained by, you know, they're two strangers meeting for the first time off the internet, and she's supposedly a 13-year-old girl and he's a 44-year-old man. That's a lot of tension right there. But I think in that moment she let slip something deeper, and that would be the reality of the sting peeking through. And Jeff gets just a glimpse at it, and rather than running for the hills, you know, taking his pizza and going, he just views it as another obstacle to getting his dick wet. This is a man with a severe case of dick brain, and he is ignoring all of the subconscious alarm bells going off about the situation. So let's see how this plays out for him. We've seen many predators get to this stage. They're like a shark in a bloodlust. You know, the shark senses blood in the water and it just starts going crazy and eating stuff. These predators get to this stage of what I'm going to start calling dick brain. And man, side note, can you imagine that on a shirt? Just big words, dick brain. I do not know if I could pull that one off. But anyway, so Jeff has entered that stage where nothing's going to stop him from trying to get his noodle a little soggy. Let's see how he does.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'll settle into it.
Okay.
So, kind of peachy batches.
You saw that little groan of his. He is like, what the fuck is going on here? This is going to be harder than I thought. I thought I was going to be able to just come in here and slide in. Now I'm going to have to work for it and try to explain away why I got the small pizza instead of the large.
The small pizza is like almost as big as the big one. So I didn't know that. 'Cause, like you said small, I thought it would be like a really small one.
Yeah. Sorry.
Are you okay?
So begins the big lies. And the first one is this bullshit about the pizza being almost the same size as a large despite being cheaper. That's not how pizzerias work. They don't eat the loss on every single small pizza just so you get a bigger pizza. Doesn't make any sense, Jeff. But it does show that Jeff thinks she's actually 13 years old, because this kind of story is only one that might work on a 13-year-old who doesn't have that much experience with the real world. But, you know, a college girl, a college kid, they're going to have tons of experience with pizza. They're going to know that you're not going to get some secret deal by buying the small. Anyway, back to Jeff's tomfoolery. It's not tomfoolery. It's more serious. It's tomfuckery.
I'm okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I am. I'm fine.
I've just never done this before.
I know.
Have you?
No, not really.
That sounded way too defensive, and then he qualified it with a not really. So I'm going to take that as a yes. Jeff has done this before.
I mean,
Are you telling me the truth?
I've met girls online, but
That is something that a 13-year-old girl would not say. Are you telling me the truth? I don't know. It just doesn't quite wash.
I don't come this far to meet someone. I don't know why
It's kind of crazy, huh?
It is crazy. Yeah, why did you let me come? If you're so nervous.
It seems like a good...
So major manipulation going on here. Jeff Sokol is kind of piling on these obligations. He's talking about how he doesn't drive 2.5 hours just to meet someone. And he doesn't know why he came over because she's so nervous. And he asks, why'd you invite me over if you're so nervous? And the implication to that is, why did you invite me over if you don't want to fuck me? And if you put yourself in the shoes of an actual 13-year-old girl, the implication becomes even more clear. You're by yourself. You have this strange man who's a lot bigger than you in your home, inside your safe space, and he's now complaining that he drove 2.5 hours for nothing. He's saying that he doesn't do that just to meet people, and he's now standing in front of you kind of straightening himself up. He's implicating, I didn't come over here just to meet you. I came over here for a reason that we talked about in the chat. He's getting aggressive with the decoy. He didn't like that denial of the hug.
Good idea, and you seem nice.
Why do you think I came?
I think I know.
It's not the only reason.
Oh man, that's as good as a confession. Because he just lays it out on the table and asks her, why do you think I came? She knows the answer is sex. He knows the answer is sex. But he wants her to be the one to say it. She gives that coy little, well, I think I know what you want. And she does a really good job on that. Nelly does. That's a really good little bit of acting. It even melts old Jeffy's heart a little bit because he says, well, that's not the only thing. So he is totally full of shit and is just feeding her a pack of lies that he's pulling from his ass. He is giving her the old, oh, it's more than just sex. I like you for who you are and your personality. And it's just a pathetic pretense. And the fact that he's trying to pull it on a 13-year-old girl makes it that much worse. He's just trying to make her feel safe, make her feel like he's committed to her, that he's not just there to rape her and leave, that he actually loves and cares about her, because that's going to make her more likely to have sex with him without him having to actually force her. It's real muffed up, guys. Let's keep going.
Well, here we are. So, let's deal with this whole contract thing, because I'm just going to be thinking about it the whole time. Until we get that out of the way.
This document was something Sokol put together after some research on the internet to protect himself from getting in trouble for having sex with a 13-year-old girl. He talked about it in the chat along with a lot of other graphic topics. It didn't work.
Is Chris wearing a denim jacket right here? Because that would be fucking tight. I would love a black denim blazer type jacket. That shit would go very well with a pair of black denim pants. And maybe even a black denim shirt. Just all denim, all day. Okay, back to it.
Let's eat and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
So he's again just being pathetic. He's the one that brought up the contract, the idea of getting her parents to sign a contract so that he could legally rape her. He brought it up, but now when she brings it up and wants to talk about it because it's fucking weird, he's like, oh no, let's just eat, okay? Let's just have some pizza. It's bullshit. If you're going to bring something up that's that strange and weird, have the balls to stand behind it and talk about it and explain it, or don't bring it up. I mean, he obviously shouldn't be bringing it up at all with a 13-year-old girl, but I imagine he does this in life as well, you know, says something awkward online and then doesn't want to discuss it in person because he feels awkward and, you know, ashamed about it.
There's plates behind you if you want to grab one.
Huh?
There's plates behind you if you want to grab one. Do you want a water or anything?
No.
Okay.
Man, well, I got this for in case we want
Alright,
to
I'll grab a water.
All right, it will help. You want to eat at the table? What do you want?
She is being the best 13-year-old host the world has ever seen. Me at 13, I wouldn't have done any of this shit. But she's playing the professional host because she's probably done it many times. I believe she's 19 in real life, so she's had experience doing this kind of stuff and it comes naturally. Jeff should be realizing that, hey, this girl seems really experienced and worldly for only being 13. He can't think of anything but his dick brain.
No.
Don't you just sit here?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I expected it to be like 2.5 hours. So.
Random non sequitur, just kind of out of the blue. He makes that terrifying face at her when she says that they can eat in the kitchen, and then just, I figured it'd take about 2.5 hours. Who cares, Jeff? What are you trying to do? Just fill the silence? God, it'd be really... Silence is preferable.
You're from the Boston area, you said?
Yeah. Can I wash my hand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some family that lives up there. It's pretty nice.
Do you?
Yeah, I've been to Faneuil Hall.
Where's your family? Like, what part of Boston?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Boston's so confusing. It's wicked confusing.
Okay.
He's not amused at that joke. The wicked thing, it's like from Good Will Hunting and a million other Boston movies. She doesn't do a very good job on the accent. I do find it interesting that he asked her permission to wash his hands. You know, why did he do that? Was he just trying to be really polite and therefore disarming? Is he trying to put her at ease by indicating that he will get her consent to do stuff? Who knows? Maybe it's a subconscious thing. He just asks if he can use water in somebody's house. Who knows? Let's get back to it.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be cool.
Oh, it's okay.
We'll work on it.
I mean, you look great.
I do not blame her for breaking out in laughter. This big fucking goofball is sitting there smashing his hands together with the paper towels. Like, what's his deal? Don't apologize for laughing at him. He's the weirdo.
Thanks.
You just look different than what than like in the pictures. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I expected you to have dark hair. Did you?
My hair it lightens up in the summer.
And no, I'm not saying, I mean, I think you look
You don't
great.
like it?
I think you look great. I'm just saying, like, you look different, yeah, than I thought.
Yeah.
He's satisfied with that answer. I don't know if the decoy picture is her or if it's somebody that just vaguely resembles her. But again, a red flag that he is eager to dismiss in his quest to get some sex from a minor.
But no, nothing wrong with
Well, you
that.
never can tell with online things, you know?
What about me?
Oh, Nervous Nelly, you are correct. You cannot tell with online things. You may show up thinking you have a date with a 13-year-old, but end up being on Hansen versus Predator. A little foreshadowing for us there.
Do I look different?
I mean, you look different. I'm not saying better or worse, just different.
Nice.
Alright.
Nice.
I have cupcakes too, if you want one.
Let's see, did you make them?
Look at those. Do you think I made those? Mm-mm.
That's her answer when they ask about the cupcakes, but she just sounds now older than 13 because she's being funny on like an adult level. Like, oh, do you see those? I couldn't make those. Maybe I'm just not remembering being 13 correctly, but I don't think I was nearly that clever to make those kind of jokes. Or at least I wasn't confident enough to say them out loud to strangers, you know, for fear of being laughed at or something. But we're about to see Chris Hansen, so let's keep going.
All right, yeah.
No,
Do you want to use plates or do you want to just eat
whatever you
it?
want. We're pretty casual here.
Okay.
I'm like too nervous to eat.
Well, you already ate, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I was wondering if you were gonna be like, how would you be? Like, would you be nervous? Would you be like totally like you've done this before?
Oh.
You know?
He was gonna say totally horny for me, but he didn't want to be crass. So that's what, when he says like you've done this before, he means practiced, easy, like smooth, like what he wanted it to be. Nope. But really, why does he have to wonder how she's going to be when he gets there? She's going to be nervous. Who wouldn't be in that situation? Jeff, do you not understand human emotions?
Definitely haven't done this before.
Like, I don't know, you just seemed very like, you didn't seem nervous at all when I talked to you and just in
Well, you know,
general.
it's different when you're talking to someone online versus like
person.
coming to their house
I
and
know,
meeting
I
them.
know.
She's definitely right. It's much easier to say stuff to people online when they're just faceless entities. And then it's definitely different when you show up in person. But again, like I said earlier, there's something different at play here that Jeff is picking up on, but he's not identifying it. And it's not just that she's a nervous 13-year-old, it's that she's a 19-year-old pretending to be a nervous 13-year-old. There are multiple layers, and Jeff is only seeing the single layer. As this thing was planned, for him to only see what they want him to see. So let's keep going.
I just gotta take something. This isn't drugs. It's just
Yeah, no, by all means. Here, drink water.
it's something that I take before.
The big question, is it a boner pill or is it just for his heartburn? I'm not going to get too bogged down in that one. There's plenty of discussion about it. I think the general consensus is that it wasn't an erection pill, but I could be just misremembering that from somebody else's commentary.
In the middle of it all, Sokol pulls out a medicine bottle. You can see it on the video. He takes a pill, apparently in preparation for what he thinks is going to be a big night ahead.
See, it could work. It's a big night. It could work both ways. It's a big night ahead of sex. It's an erection pill. Or a big night of eating pizza, in which case it's like an IBS pill or something. Oh, Chris, you always keep us on our toes.
What have you been doing all day?
I'm just hanging out. Watching TV, Netflix and stuff.
What's that?
I have no idea.
So there was definitely a clunk, and then you heard like a shoe squeak in the background. She plays it off pretty well. She's staring him right in the eyes, like very confident. So again, not very 13-year-old like. But this is when Chris is about to come out. So we're going to watch this, and then I'm going to have to take a break for part 2.
Do you want me to check?
Somebody here?
No.
What kind of pizza we have tonight?
Who's this?
I'll get to that in a minute. Who are you?
Who are you?
I held back my laughter as long as I could. Oh man, he's got a funny reaction. He's got a set of balls on him, this guy. Chris comes out, asks him what's going on, and fucking Sokol says, "Who's this?" Like it's his house, and he's demanding answers. Like, no, Sokol, you sit there, you stay there, and we're gonna grill you. Not the other way around. But I'm afraid that has to be the end of part 1. You might be able to tell I'm starting to lose my voice because I've been working all day. I use the phone a lot, and then I've been doing these every single night. So my voice is starting to quit on me, but hopefully it doesn't go away like Jerry Kosis, who had to walk from far away. But that's the end of it. End of part 1. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. It's just such a great feeling knowing that people enjoy my content and listen to it and honor me with their time. So if you like it, feel free to subscribe. No pressure. I do apologize for the squeaky chair. I'm gonna get that fixed so it won't happen in part 2. But until then, hope you have a nice day/night, and I will catch you on the flip side.